People at Work, The Postman and the Postal Service, published in 1965, a Ladybird book. "500 years ago, not many people in this country could read or write. Very few people wrote letters. There were no posting boxes for letters and no postman to collect and deliver them. The king's letters were carried by a special messenger. He was called the king's messenger. He wore a bright red uniform because red was the royal colour. His hat was trimmed with one or more feathers. The king's letters were called the royal mail. The king's messenger rode on horseback. He carried the royal mail in a leather pouch. Many years later, the king's messengers began to be called postboys. They carried other people's letters as well as the king's letters. They were still supposed to look after the royal mail first, so they still wore red uniforms. Some of the postboys walked, and some of them rode on horseback. They only travelled along what was the main roads in those days. Every postboy on horseback carried a post horn, which he blew 3 times in every mile. Along the main roads there were inns where travellers could eat or sleep. The postboys on horseback needed fresh horses every 20 miles. They used to stop at the inns to eat and to change horses. The inns where the postboys stopped were called post houses. They were about 20 miles apart. A post horn over the door showed that an inn was a post house. The innkeepers of the post houses became postmasters. The postboys left some letters with their postmaster and collected other letters from him. As time went on, more people gave letters to the postboys. More roads became post roads, and the postboys' mail bags became bigger and heavier. As their bags grew heavier, the postboys became slower. The highwaymen often waited to rob the postboys. A highwayman usually wore a mask over his face, and he rode a fast horse. He would snatch the mailbag from the postboy and ride quickly off with it. Later, he would open the letters and steal any money that was inside them. As more highwaymen robbed the mail, people became afraid to send their letters by postboys. Stagecoaches travelled along the same roads as the postboys. They travelled much more quickly than the postboys. In 1784, some bags of mail were put on a stagecoach travelling from London to Bristol. It did the journey of 120 miles in 17 hours. This was very fast travelling in those days. Soon, nearly all the mail was being sent by mail coaches instead of by postboys. The mail coaches were beautifully painted and polished. Each coach was pulled by 4 very fine horses. A guard sat at the back of every mail coach, and he wore a royal uniform of red and gold and a tall hat. He carried a large brass post horn, which he often blew. The guard also had a gun and 2 pistols to guard the royal mail against highwaymen. One of the fastest of the mail coaches was the Bristol Flyer. By 1816, it could travel from London to Bristol in less than 12 hours. It was very exciting when a mail coach arrived at a post-inn. Grooms ran to the stables to bring out fresh horses. Servants rushed about with food and drinks for the passengers. The guard handed over a bag of letters to the landlord and collected another bag from him. Then Then on went the mail coach, often driving through the night. At each post house on the road, the guard delivered bags of mail and collected others. Sometimes this was done from an upstairs window without the guard getting down from the coach. At this time, letters were not put in envelopes. They were just folded over and sealed with hot wax. The letters did not have stamps on them. There were no posting box in which to post the letters, and people had to take their letters to posting houses to be collected. In big towns, letters could be given to a man called a letter carrier. He went through the streets ringing a bell. Letters were not delivered to people's houses as they are now. They were left at posting houses for people to collect. For many years, the Royal Mail travelled by fast mail coaches. Then steam engines and railway trains were invented. The trains travelled much faster than coaches. In 1830, a mail bag was first carried on a train from Liverpool to Manchester. It travelled much more quickly than if it had gone by mail coach. Soon more railways were built in this country. Then more and more mail was sent by rail instead of mail coaches. During the next 100 years, many more letters were written. Collecting and delivering the mail was made easier. Posting boxes were set up in all the towns and villages. The picture shows the first posting box, which was set up in a street in 1855. Now no one needs walk very far to post a letter. Today, letters are delivered to everyone's house by postmen. The postmen wear navy blue uniforms with red pipings. These narrow red lines remind us that the postmen still carry the Royal Mail. Every day, about 800,000 parcels and 26 million letters are posted in this country. Let's see how the mail reaches the people to whom it is sent. First of all, we buy stamps for our letters and parcels at post offices or from stamp machines. Then we post the letters in posting boxes. There are about 100,000 posting boxes spread all over the country. Small parcels can also be posted in posting boxes. The General Post Office, GPO, call these small parcels packets. Large parcels must be taken to the post offices to be posted. The letters and packets are collected from the posting boxes by postmen. This work is called clearing the boxes. It is often done by postmen who drive small red GPO vans. The postman carries a key to open the door in the side of the posting box. He puts all the letters and packets from the box into his bag. Then he changes the time on the little label to show people when the box will be next cleared. In busy towns, the posting boxes are cleared many times every day. In more lonely places, the boxes are cleared only once a day. The mail collected from the boxes is taken to a large post office to be sorted. The mail bags are emptied onto a big table. The letters, postcards and packets are all mixed up in a big pile. First, the letters have to be separated from the packets. This job is called segregating the mail. A postman stands at the table and segregates the letters and packets. This must be done first because the packets cannot go through a stamp cancelling machine. Next, the small letters are separated from the large letters. Then the letters are faced. This means that all the letters are turned the same way. The addresses must be on top and the stamps in the top right-hand corner. When the letters have been Segregated and faced, they go through a stamp cancelling machine. The machine cancels the stamps by putting a postmark on them. This is done to stop people using the stamps again. The postmark shows the date, the time, and the town in which the letter was posted. Next, the letters are sorted on a sorting frame. It looks like rows of shelves divided into open boxes. There are 48 boxes and they are called pigeonholes. Each one has a label showing the name of a big town or a large district. The postman works in front of the sorting frame so that he can reach all the pigeonholes without moving. He looks at the name of the town in the address on each letter. Then he sorts the letters by putting each one in the correct pigeonhole. It is very important that letters should be addressed clearly so that the sorter can sort them quickly. After the first sorting, the letters in each pigeonhole are sorted again on other sorting frames. The labels on these pigeonholes are for much smaller towns and districts. In some of the biggest sorting offices, the sorting of letters can be done by machines. One man working machine can sort many more letters in the same time. The letters are now ready to begin their journeys. The place to which a letter is going is called its destination. Letters for the same destination are tied into a bundle, and all bundles to that destination put into mail bags. The bags for different destinations are tied up and sealed. Most of the mail bags are loaded into vans and driven to the station. There, the mail bags are put onto different trains for their destinations. Mail bags for nearby post offices are taken there in mail vans. Some of the mail travels on ordinary trains, but a lot of the mail travels on special mail trains. The mail trains are fitted out as travelling post offices. They have large sorting offices fitted with proper sorting frames. GPO men work at sorting mail while the train is travelling. During the night, the mail trains travel at high speeds. Then mail from one end of the country can be delivered at the other end of the country on the following day. Mail trains can be collected and deliver bags of mail without stopping. Special metal arms stick out from the sides of the mail coaches. Leather pouches of letters are hung on the metal arms. At the side of the railway track there is a special net. As the train passes, the net snatches the pouch of letters from the side of the train. Further along the track, other pouches of letters hang on metal arms. These are letters for the train to collect. As the train passes, these pouches are scooped into nets on the side of the train. In London, there is a special Post Office Underground Railway. It runs 70 feet below the streets of London. Mail bags travel on this railway from the sorting offices to the big stations. Small electric trains are used to carry the mail bags. This underground railway works very like a toy electric railway. The train stops at stations, but there are no drivers or guards. The trains are controlled electrically by a man who moves switches to make the train stop and start. In places, the tunnels are only 8 feet wide. Many of the letters which are written in this country have to be sent to destinations in other countries. The mail bags for abroad are taken to airports or seaports. At the airports, the airmail letters are put onto aeroplanes which fly all over the world. Nowadays, an airmail letter can reach almost any place in the world in a few days. Some mail is also sent by helicopters. The heavier mail for abroad goes by ship. Huge bags of mail are put into strong nets and swung on board the ships. When the mail bags arrive at sorting offices near their destinations, they are sorted twice on big sorting frames. The postmen come to the sorting offices very early in the morning. They sort their letters ready for delivery. This sorting is called setting in. Each postman puts the letters for his own delivery round into the order in which he will deliver them. It helps him to do this if the numbers of the houses are on all the letters. As the postman does his setting in, he ties the letters into bundles and puts the bundles into his bag. The letters are now ready to be delivered to their destinations. The postmen set off. Some of them walk on their rounds and some use bicycles. In country districts, many of the postmen go out in mail vans to deliver letters. On Dartmoor, the postman rides on a pony to deliver his letters. Letters to people in lighthouses or people who live on small islands are delivered by boat. Letters to people on ships, in the rivers or harbours are also delivered by boat. The busiest time of the year for the postman and the GPO workers is the few weeks before Christmas. During these few weeks, millions of letters, Christmas cards, packets and parcels are posted. They all have to be sorted and delivered to our homes before Christmas Day. The staff of the post office work very hard at this time of the year. We all love to see the postman delivering our Christmas mail to our houses. We wish him a happy Christmas and thank him for delivering our mail safely during the year.